Today is most auspicious day, Ekadashi Tithi, Apara Ekadashi Tithi. So we have to observe it for the satisfaction of Krishna by giving up all enjoyments, all sinful activities, and with all good qualities we have to remain near Krishna through service. With devotion, that is all good qualities means devotion. And by devotion we can remain near Krishna, serving him, especially with chanting his holy name. Today's day we have to do more. And also one of the 5 main devotional practices is also hearing SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM, the glories of Supreme Lord and his devotees. Now we are hearing about creation. We heard yesterday, therefore, beyond this gross manifestation is a transcendental manifestation finer than the finest form. It has no beginning, no intermediate stage, and no end. Therefore, it is beyond the limits of expression by words or mental speculation, imagination, or that, and is distinct from the material conception. That is why you cannot grasp that, understand that, see that, realize that by these material senses and gross material senses, eye, ear, etc., and mind, intelligence, and false ego, you cannot understand. Only with your transcendental eyes, which are opened by the grace of Krishna. When you surrender, then you can see that eternal reality with your eternal senses. Amuni Bhagavat Rupe Maya te hyanu varnite ubhe apina grinanti maya shrishte vipaschitaha. Neither of the above forms of the Lord, as just described unto you from the material angle of vision, is accepted by the pure devotees of the Lord who know him well. That is Vishwarup. Pure devotees, they want to see the transcendental form. Savachya Vachakataya Bhagavan Brahma Rupa Drik Nama Rupa Kriya Dhate Sakarma Karmakah Para. He, the personality of Godhead, manifests himself in a transcendental form, being the subject of his transcendental name, quality, pastimes, entourage, and transcendental variegatedness. Although he is unaffected by all such activities, he appears to be so engaged. Mayavadis, they cannot understand transcendental variegatedness. They see only material world, there is variegatedness, so opposite to this must have no variegatedness, that Brahma, impersonal, but devotees, by the power of devotion, by the grace of Krishna, they can see this all. Transcendental name, form, attributes, pastimes, abodes, different forms of Krishna, all eternal, different associates, unlimited variety is there. So that is not karma activity. It is lila. That is why he is not affected as we are conditioned souls. Yes. When he appears in this world, Supreme Lord, it seems like that he is like us, but it is not so. Appears he's doing lila, and we are under the influence of karma, material activities. Prajapatin manun devan rishin pitriganan pritak sidacharana gandharvan vidya dhrasura guhyakan kinarap saraso nagan sarpan kim purushan naran matri rakshak pishachamscha preta bhuta vinayakan kushmandon madavetalan yatu dhanan grahanapi Khagan, Mrigan, Pashun, Vrikshan, Girin, Nripa, Sarisripan. Dvi vidas chaturvidayenye, Jala stala na bhaukasaha, Kushala mishra, Karmanam gatayas tvimah. O king, that is Parikit, know from me that all living entities are created by the Supreme Lord according to their past deeds. What is created is their bodies and tendencies that is created. But Atma is never created. Atma is eternal. So when new creation comes, then according to their past activities, Supreme Lord creates those bodies, or when you have to give up this body and go into another, that is also created by Supreme Lord. And always according to past deeds. Krishna is never imposing anything on any jiva. I already told many times in Vedanta Sutra that question is there. If Supreme Lord is the creator, then he must be partial and cruel, because we see some people are having high position, some are having low, some are enjoying, some are suffering, and he's creator. But it is stated there, no. They're getting these things according to their past karma. Then another question is there. Yes, that may be true for this, but it is stated in Shastra that before creation nothing was there, only Supreme Lord. So in the first creation, he must have created different positions. He said no. When it is said that nothing is, only he exists before creation, means nothing is manifested. Everything is resting in him. But that time also karma is not destroyed. It is from previous cycle. It means only that all jivas and all material energy, everything is resting at that time in him. And when new creation in pathos comes, then he will create everything according to their past karma. That Mahavishnu is Onadi, beginningless, and his creation is also beginningless. Jivas also are beginningless, and their karma is also beginningless. Cannot find any beginning. This includes Brahma and his sons like Daksha, the periodical heads like Vaivasvata Manu, the demigods like Indra, Chandra, and Varuna, the great sages like Bhrigu, Vyas, and Vashishta, the inhabitants of Pitriloka and Siddhaloka, the Charanas, Gandharvas, Vidyadharas, Asuras, Yakshas, Kinnaras, and angels, the serpentines, the monkey-shaped Kim Purushas, the human beings, the inhabitants of Matriloka, the demons, Pishachas, those are witches, Pishachi, ghosts, spirits, lunatics, and evil spirits, the good and evil stars, the goblins, the animals in the forest, the birds, the household animals, the reptiles, the mountains, the moving and standing living entities, the living entities born from embryos, from eggs, from perspiration, and from seeds, and all others, whether they be in the water, land, or sky, in happiness, in distress, or in mixed happiness and distress. All of them, according to their past deeds, are created by the Supreme Lord. Yes. So we cannot blame anyone for our position. We are getting the fruit of our previous actions. So those who are fortunate, they will surrender to Krishna. They will change their mentality. They will say, I will not do any more this sense enjoyment, but I will serve Krishna. What I did in past, let me get. All I want is your service. So if they can have such mood sincerely in the heart, then all the reactions to those activities will be destroyed. But if you have any separate desire, I will worship Krishna so that he will remove that karma, that is selfish. It is not pure devotion. Only pure devotion can destroy prarabdha karma. Nothing else. Sattvam rajas tama iti tisra sura nri naraka tatrap ekaikasho rajan vidyante gatayas tridha yadaikaika taro nyabhyam svabhava upahanyate. According to the different modes of material nature, the mode of goodness, the mode of passion, and the mode of darkness, there are different living creatures who are known as demigods, human beings, and hellish living entities. O king, even a particular mode of nature, being mixed with the other two, is divided into three, and thus each kind of living creature is influenced by the other modes and acquires its habits also. Demigods are in Satyaguna, humans in Rajaguna, and those hellish are in Tamoguna, predominant. Yes, there is a mix. Those who are in Tamoguna, they have certain habits. Those who are in Rajaguna, certain habits. Those in Satyaguna, certain habits. And devotees, transcendental, they also have certain activities. Sa evedam jagadhata bhagavan dharma rupadrik pushnati stapayan vishvam tirya nara suradibhi. He, the personality of Godhead, as the maintainer of all in the universe, appears in different incarnations after establishing the creation, and thus he reclaims all kinds of conditioned souls amongst the humans, the non-humans, and the demigods. Yes. Our Gurudev used to quote one his no, I think Krishna Kesha Prabhu gave that, or one God brother. I forgot. Gurudev heard, I think from Krishna Kesha Prabhu, one disciple of Prabhupada. He gave that example that if some balti, bucket, in India they say balti, if one bucket falls down into well and you cannot get it, then how you can pull it out? It is very down, you cannot reach by hand. then you have to throw a bunch of ropes with hooks on the end and throw many of them inside, and then you have to rotate. And then after rotating, you pull, and one will catch that bucket. Then you can lift it up. Like that Prabhu said, Supreme Lord appears in many forms in this world. Because jivas, they are conscious beings, they have a relative independence and different tastes. So he appears in many forms. Which one you like, you catch it. Steadfastly, you catch it, then you can be delivered from this mic world and can attain eternal service in transcendental realm. Tata kalagni rudratma yat shrishtam idam atmana saniyachati tatkale ghana nikam ivanilach. Thereafter, at the end of the millennium, the Lord himself, in the form of Rudra, the destroyer, will annihilate the complete creation as the wind displaces the clouds. He also destroys. Itham bhavena katito bhagavan bhagavatamaha. Netham bhavena hi param drashtum arhanti surayaha. The great transcendentalists thus describe the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but the pure devotees deserve to see more glorious things in transcendence beyond these features. Means Vaikuntha, Golok, those transcendental realms. These are activities of Supreme Lord in relation to Maya. It's also Lila, but that is also Lila. Nasya karmani janmado parasyanu vidhiyate kartritva pratishedhartham maya yaropitam hi tat. There is no direct engineering by the Lord for the creation and destruction of the material world. What is described in the Vedas about his direct interference is simply to counteract the idea that material nature is the creator. Yes. Always it is everything done by the will of Krishna. That is to make us understand that Maya is not working anything independently, the creation. But if you go in more details, Krishna himself, son of Nanda Maharaj, does not directly do these things. He is doing through these Purusha avatars. And also, they are also not affected. Yes. Because Karanarnamashai Vishnu is a plenary expansion of Krishna, it is he who electrifies the matter to put it in motion. Yes. Ayam tu Brahmana kalpa savikalpa udahiritaha vidih sadarano yatra sarga prakrita vaikritaha. The process of creation and annihilation described in summary herein is the regulative principle during the duration of Brahma's one day. It is also the regulative principle in the creation of Mahat, in which the material nature is dispersed. Yes. Here Sai Maharaj is telling, there are 3 different types of creation called Mahakalpa, Vikalpa and Kalpa. In the Mahakalpa, the Lord assumes the first Purusha incarnation as Karanodakashayi Vishnu with all the potencies of the Mahatattva and the 16 principles of creative matter and instruments. The creative instruments are 11, the ingredients are 5, and all of them are products of Mahat, or materialistic ego. These creations by the Lord in his feature as Karanodakashayi Vishnu are called Mahakalpa. The creation of Brahma and dispersion of material ingredients are called Vikalpa. And the creation by Brahma in each day of his life is called Kalpa. Therefore, each day of Brahma is called a Kalpa, and there are 30 Kalpas in terms of Brahma's days. Yes. So one is totally, one Mahakalpa is 100 years of Brahma. Then Brahma is also destroyed. That is total annihilation. Everything merges into Mahavishnu. Then again, when he will create, then Brahma will come, and then, but there is partial creation and dissolution each day of Brahma. Up to Svarga Loka, everything is destroyed. But Mahar Loka, Jana Loka, Tapa Loka, Satya Loka, they remain. But Svarga down is destroyed and then again created during the day of Brahma. And in one day of Brahma means 24 hours of Brahma, that is 28 Manvantaras. Once in such day of Brahma, Nandanandan Krishna, original personality of Godhead, appears in this world. Only once. In 28 Manvantar, no, in 7th Manvantar, 28 Chatur Juga, 4 ages together, in 28. As Nandanandan Krishna in Dvapar Yuga, together with Vrindavan, he appears. Then next Kali Yuga, which is now, Nandanandan Krishna appears as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So it is very rare. And Gurudev thought, you are very fortunate. You should not waste this opportunity, because highest type of devotion to Krishna you can get by the grace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He also appears only once in Day of Brahma. So here, the creation during the day of Brahma is called Kalpa, and the creation of Brahma is called Vikalpa. When Vikalpas are made possible by the breathing of Mahavishnu, this is called Mahakalpa. There are regular and systematic cycles of these Mahakalpas, Vikalpas and Kalpas. Then here it is in Skanda Puran, also mentioned, there are 30 Kalpas. No, therefore the 30 Kalpas of Brahma are Shveta Kalpa, Nila Lohita, Vamadeva, Gathantara, Raurava, Prana, Brihat Kalpa, Kandarpa, Sadyota, Ishana, Dhyana, Sarasata, Udana, Garuda, Kaurma, Narasimha, Samadhi, Agneya, Vishnuja, Saura, Somakalpa, Bhavana, Supuma, Vaikunta, Archisha, Valikalpa, Vairaja, Gaurikalpa, Maheshwara, Paitrikalpa. These are Brahma's days only, and he has to live months and years up to 100. So we can just imagine how many creations there are in kalpas only. Then again there are vikalpas, which are generated by the breathing of Mahavishnu, as stated in the Brahma Samhita. Yaseika nishvasita kalam atavalambya jivanti loma vilaja jagadandanata. The Brahmas live only during the breathing period of Mahavishnu. So the exhaling and inhaling of Vishnu are Mahakalpas, and all these are due to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for no one else is the master of all creations. So we cannot imagine this with our material mind. But those who are pure devotees in Samadhi, they can see how this is happening. All those events of Mahavishnu are also eternal. Everything is unlimited. Parimanam chakalasya kalpalakshana vigraham yatha purastat vyakyasye padmam kalpam atoshrinu. O king, I shall in due course explain the measurement of time in its gross and subtle features, with the specific symptoms of each. But for the present, let me explain unto you the Padma Kalpa. Here in commentary, Sai Maharaj telling, the present duration of a Kalpa of Brahma is called the Varaha Kalpa or Shveta Varaha Kalpa, because the incarnation of the Lord as Varaha took place during the creation of Brahma, who was born on the lotus coming out of the abdomen of Vishnu. Therefore, this Varaha Kalpa is also called Padma Kalpa, and this is testified by Acharyas like Jiva Goswami as well as Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in pursuance of the first commentator Swami Sridhar. So there is no contradiction between the Varaha and the Padma Kalpa of Brahma. Shaunaka Uvach. Yat aha no bhavan suta kshata bhagavatotama chachara tirtani bhuvas tyaktva bandhun sudustya jan. Shaunaka Rishi, after hearing all about the creation, inquired from Suta Goswami about Vidur, for Suta Goswami had previously informed him how Vidur left home, leaving aside all his relatives who were very difficult to live. Kshatuh ko sharave stasya samvado dhyatma sanshritaha yatva sa bhagavam stasmai prishtas tatvam uvachaha bruhi nastat idam somya vidurasya vicheshtitam bandhu tyaga nimitam cha yathaiva gatavan punah. Shaunaka Rishi said, let us know, please, what topics were discussed between Vidur and Maitreya, who talked on transcendental subjects, and what was inquired by Vidur and replied by Maitreya. Also, please let us know the reason for Vidura's giving up the connection of his family members and why he again came home. Please also let us know the activities of Vidur while he was in the places of pilgrimage. Suta Uvach. Ragya Parikhita Prishto Yat Avochan Mahamuni Tat Vo Bidhasya Shrinuta Ragya Prashnanu Sarataha. Sri Sutta Goswami explained, I shall now explain to you the very subjects explained by the great sage in answer to King Parikit's inquiries. Please hear them attentively. Here ends the second canto, Bhagavatam. So now I will open on computer because the book is in another room. 1 second. Third canto, chapter 1. Advanced view I need. Text 1. Shri Shuka Uvach. Evam etat pura prishto Maitreya Bhagavan kila Kshatra Vanam Pravishtena Tyaktva Swagriham Ridhimat. Shukadev Goswami said, after renouncing his prosperous home and entering the forest, King Vidur, the great devotee, asked this question of His Grace Maitreya Rishi. Yatva ayam mantra kridvo Bhagavan Akhileshwarah Pauravendra griham hitva pravi ve shatmasat kritam. What else is there to say about the residential house of the Pandavas? Shri Krishna, the Lord of everything, acted as your minister. He used to enter that house as if it were his own, and he did not take any care of Duryodhana's house. Rajovach. Kutra kshatur bhagavata Maitreyana sa sangama kada va saha samvada etad varnayanah pravo. The king asked Shukadev Goswami, where and when did the meeting and discussion take place between Saint Vidur and His Grace Maitreya Muni? Kindly oblige, my Lord, and describe this to us. This is like in now modern video clips on YouTube. In first some seconds they will show you something because people, they don't have patience, so they will show something what will come in later in video. So first they will show the point, and then the background and the whole thing, everything will start, and you can come. So here also first Vidur and Maitreya is there. Now Parikit Maharaj is asking how it all happened, where they met, like this. Nahi alparto dayastasya vidurasya malatmanah tasmin variyasi prashna sadhu vado pa brimhitaha. Saint Vidur was a great and pure devotee of the Lord, and therefore his questions to His Grace Rishi Maitreya must have been very purposeful, on the highest level, and approved by learned circles. Suta Uvach. Sa evam rishi varyo yam prishto ragya parikita pratyaha tam subahuvit pritatma shruyatam iti. Sri Suta Goswami said, the great sage Shukadev Goswami was highly experienced and was pleased with the king. Thus, being questioned by the king, he said to him, please hear the topics attentively. Shri Shuka Uvach. Yada tu Raja Swasutam Asadhun Pushnan na dharmena vinashta drishti Bratur yavi shtasya sutan vibandhun praveshya laksha bhavane dadaha. Shri Shukadev Goswami said, King Dhritarashtra became blind under the influence of impious desires to nourish his dishonest sons, and thus he set fire to the lacquer house to burn his fatherless nephews, the Pandavas. Yes. Dhritarashtra was supporting Duryodhana, so he made these problems to Pandavas. They wanted to kill them, but they were always yes. Krishna saved them. Here Sai Maharaj is telling, Dhritarashtra was blind from birth, but his blindness in committing impious activities to support his dishonest sons was a greater blindness than his physical lack of eyesight. The physical lack of sight does not bar one from spiritual progress. But when one is blind spiritually, even though physically fit, that blindness is dangerously detrimental to the progressive path of human life. You can find Bilva Mangal Thakur. He took out his eyes. He saw them as obstacles because he was always attracted by ladies with this eyes, so he destroyed and fully surrendered to Krishna. So then everything in his spiritual eye he saw. So physical blindness is not bad, but if someone is very sinful and has so many other desires, that is real blindness. That is more problematic. And there is also one, many saints are there who are blind. One was also Surdas. He wrote many songs in Hindi. Our Muni Maharaj used to sing, or is still singing, he's still here. He Govinda Rakho Sharana, that song, and so many others. So he was blind physically. So one day, and he used to sing songs in front of Diti. I forgot now, in Vrindavan, some Diti, Radha Krishna Diti. So some others, they were envious and they criticize. He's a blind. What he can see, why he's looking towards the deity, he cannot see anything. So in order to crush their false pride and for their benefit out of compassion, on that day, Surdas suddenly composed one new song. Spontaneously it came when he was singing for the deities. So in that song, he was describing about the exact dress of deities on that day, singing the glories of Radha Krishna and how they are dressed exactly on that day. So then they were astonished how this is possible. Then they understood that really he is not ordinary person. Because with transcendental eyes he can see. Krishna can show him everything. He actually sees. We are blind. Those who have devotional eyes, they can see. That is why also in Upadeshamrita in 6th verse you will find, do not judge pure devotees by material vision. They may have some bodily defect, they may be ugly or diseased or blind or crippled or whatever. Don't criticize them, because that is not any importance. Importance is their devotion. Like Ganga, you may see some bubbles like this, but that does not pollute Ganga. Ganga is transcendental always. So pure devotees always they are transcendental. You should not think that this is due to their bad karma and there is some obstacle. No. Then we will commit offense. Yada sabhayam kuru deva devya kesha bimarsham suta karma garhyam navarayam asan ripasnu shaya swasreir harantya kucha kunkumani. The king did not forbid his son Dushasana's abominable action of grabbing the hair of Draupadi, the wife of the godly king Yudhishthir, even though her tears washed the red dust on her breast. Dushasana wanted to strip her naked. No one helped her except Krishna. When she fully surrendered to him, then Krishna appeared there as unlimited sari. Dyute tvadharmena jitasya sadho satya valambasya vanam gatasya nayachato dat samayena dayam tamo jushano yat ajata shatru. Yudhishthir, who was born without any enemy, was unfairly defeated in gambling. Ajata Shatru, one who had no enemy, means he is not seeing anyone as his enemy. So he was unfairly defeated in gambling. But because he had taken the vow of truthfulness, he went off to the forest. When he came back in due course and begged the return of his rightful share of the kingdom, he was refused by Dhritarashtra, who was overwhelmed by illusion. Know this. This is how the Kurukshetra war, this incident led to the war of Kurukshetra. So at last, the Pandavas demanded only 5 villages, one for each of the 5 brothers, but that was also refused by the usurpers. This incident led to the war of Kurukshetra. The battle of Kurukshetra therefore was induced by the Kurus and not the Pandavas. As Kshatriyas, the proper livelihood of the Pandavas was only to rule and not to accept any other occupation. A Brahmana, Kshatriya or Vaishya will not accept employment for his livelihood under any circumstances. That is proper in Varna Ashram Dharma. So also Krishna went to negotiate. But still Duryodhana, he said no. Even on the top of the pin or a needle, how much length you can put on the tip of needle, that much length I will not give to Pandavas. So wicked. So then Krishna said that war is inevitable and it is righteous war. It is not violence, it is righteous. That is why Krishna encouraged him, and also because it was Krishna's wish to get rid of demoniac kings in this world, because they are doing wrong activities to the citizens, oppressing, exploiting, cheating, all this is wrong. So Krishna comes to solve the problem, and he does through his instrument. So Arjuna was as instrument to kill them for their benefit and for the benefit of all. So some people, they don't understand this. They think this Hindu dharma, they're following Gita, they're in support of violence, but they don't know the whole background. Why Krishna told to Arjuna. And one is from the level of Varna Ashram Dharma for the material benefit of all, and another is from the spiritual vision. Then one can properly understand what was Krishna's mission and why that was for the eternal and material benefit of all. When they can understand the whole background, then they will see that this was not any kind of violence, selfish, harmful violence. No, it was beneficial for all. But one has to be properly trained by realized soul to understand that Kurukshetra war. Yada chaparta prahitaha sabhayam jagad gurur yani jagada krishna natani pungsham amrita yanani rajoru menakshata punya leshah. Lord Krishna was sent by Arjuna into the assembly as the spiritual master of the whole world, and although his words were heard by some, like Bhishma, as pure nectar, it was not so for the others, who were completely bereft of the last farthing of past pious works. The king, Dhritarashtra or Duryodhan, did not take the words of Lord Krishna very seriously. Yes, here this is mentioned. Lord Krishna, who is the spiritual master of the entire universe, accepted the duty of a messenger and, deputed by Arjuna, went to the assembly of King Dhritarashtra on a peace mission. But they did not accept. So the message of Godhead is always like nectar to the devotees, but it is just the opposite to the non-devotees. Sugar candy is always sweet to the healthy man, but it tastes very bitter to persons suffering from jaundice. So tomorrow we'll further hear.